Alright, back on our 72 Sportster. So this is what the latest version is. So he picked up his inverted front end he wanted. And already it mocked up here, and I threw his seat back up there. So here's our front wheel selection we were trying to use, which is a 16 inch, which is probably similar to a 17 on actual D. And then I got a stock style 19 inch tire. And then we got my 18 inch rear tire mock up from one of my race bikes. And we got the other race bike wheel, which is back here, which is my 180. So he's good with that part. He kind of likes this fat front look, but I told him I ain't gonna handle for squats. So anyway, that's not gonna fly up in the front, but it's the height. So right now with the front end that he's got, that's not mounted correctly, because I don't have any bearings up in here or spacers. It just kind of wobbles around here. This is the length you come up with. The reason that is because you got the wrong length front end. I told him to make sure you measure the front end before you buy it. You need a 32 inch fork. That's a 30 inch fork. So we're 2 inches too short. That means we can't use a small tire like that with a little bit of lift up in the front end. Basically we are at a full 18 inch height, front and back. It's sitting on top of my plates here, which is 3 inch, 3 inch, and 1.5 inches. So that's 7.5 inches off the ground. And my axle is just laying in here right now. The shock studs are just laying there too. So this thing is probably going to go up a little bit in the back, which is going to make it go like this. Which will help on the handling if you want to turn, because it's going to take the 30-degree rake and blow some of it out. I'm not sure what's going to do to the trail, but probably not going to help it any, I bet. So that's what he wound up with this. Since then we went back on eBay and bought the fork on eBay. That is supposed to be 32 inches long. That's all chrome instead of black, but it's got longer legs. And the legs aren't all pitted up like these are. Now this has only been running from here to here, but if you hit a big bump, it'll go all the way down to here. You know, it goes inside of here all the way to here. So if your seal gets in this bad area, these seals are going to take a big dump. So, and both sides are like that from being rusted. So the pitting is worse than what he talked about, because I didn't go look at them. Of course the pictures suck. So basically this front end is not quite what we're after, but it's sort of there. But it's in its price range you can afford. It's not $3,600. This is one of those old CCI forks made by Marizuki or Suchi or whatever the hell that Italian place is. So there's something up here you can screw around with up here to screw them up. So, but anyway, that's what we got. It's a wide glide width, which is great for a fat ass tire, but it kind of sucks for a skinny tire, but in a skinny bike. But oh well, we do what we gotta do. All right, so what I was gonna do today, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this front end mounted more accurately. Now, fork stops are an issue, so you gotta figure out how you can do fork stops. You can take a cup that has a block in here in the front, like a Sportster, like a new Sportster would be, and then you have a stop right here, one on each side that would catch it, and that'll be your fork lock. In which case, this cup would have to be pinned to the frame or welded to the frame. Now this front end here, once I took a look at it, this is the one that takes the stops that go back here, which is basically a big Allen bolt with a spacer on it, and it hits the frame right in this area. So we can make this work on the Sportster as long as we got enough turn radius when we're done. So I can make that work. What you gotta remember right now is this one here is way the hell up and this one's way down. So that's gonna help on our front end length a little bit, but this stop here is gonna have to be pretty damn long, and when they start getting long like that, they tend to want to fall off. So we might have to tie the two sides together to give it some strength. So, or put bigger bolts in it. Bigger bolts always helps. Nothing wrong with going to 1/2 inch hardware. So right now I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to do about these cups. So I forget which cups this is right now. I think these are big twin cups I got laying here right now. But if I don't have to use the fork stop here in the front, I don't have to use a big twin cup. I can go ahead and use his Sportster cups he has and modify them to fit the 1 inch stem. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So first thing I do is take this apart and so we can work on it. And try to get this thing done up a little bit better than what it is right now. Make sure I'm all the way out. I am. Alright. I don't like how this front end's mounted either. It's a crappy way of doing things, but that's how they do it. Without making a whole new stem assembly, I'm stuck with what they got. One advantage of this front end is it takes a real Harley axle. So, you have some stupid ass hidden axle you can't find anywhere. When it fails, because it will fail. It's a Harley, it always fails. This thing all comes apart upside down. It's kind of ass backwards, but oh well. Apart. This is basically a top tree, even though it's on the bottom. And the real bad part is what actually holds this together. You have this little flathead screw. There it hits right there in that little thin ass taper where all the powder coat was at. And you see the massive amounts of area there, not much. And flip it around this way. It's kind of heavy. This little shoulder, right, not this big one, it's clean. This little one down on the inside here, that's all that holds it on the other side. That's it. This big hole right through here doesn't do a damn thing. It doesn't touch it. So that's all you got, is those two little surfaces to hit against. So it's not a very good design. I guess this little nut right here that holds it. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pre-torque this either, because it's not much to holding. So you're not hitting on this big side, you're hitting on this little lip right here. That's it. That hits inside that aluminum fork, and that's the only thing that holds this thing on the bike. That and the bottom of that screw. That only hits in one little mark right there. You can see the mark. So that whole area right there is the only thing that holds it together. This, like I said, this does not contact anything. So that's all that holds that front end on the bike. Not exactly my idea of secure mounting system. It might work, but it don't work too good in my book. Alright, so this has a big twin bearing in it, which we can't use unless we make these fit. So we can make them fit, or we can use a sportster for stuff and make it fit. Now, where's the sportster stuff? Here's a sportster cup. Big twin cup. Similar bearing, but different. The angle of the roller is actually different between the two. So there's a mismatch in angle. That's the angle the Timken sits out this way. One's more like that, one's more like this. So you can't just mix them. And to make it really fun, the OD of the bearing race is 5 or 8 thou difference, so it only works in one. You can't mix them. Another problem. The next thing is this one here does not have a 1-inch hole in it, and this one here don't fit in the frame because they're a little bit different in size. See, not much difference. So you got two options: turn this one down, which makes it really, really thin, you lose half the metal, or you bore the hole out on this one. I prefer boring the hole out on this one, but it gets weak either way. They both work. All right, we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Interrupted. All right, so I got the bearings off here. Cups are out. Now, on these frames in here, you got to make sure these things do not hit on these stems. If you look at the neck up in here, I think I get where you can see it. It's kill the light. Alright, see that lip right there? Right up in that area there. I gotta get in this direction. There, that lip right up in there. Yeah, I can't poke and look. Okay, that lip up in there, see how it's not cut out? You got to make sure that that does not contact the side of your stem here. So, if it binds up on the stem here, it'll make the fork bind up. So, sometimes you have to come in here and grind that out with a big long die grinder and knock that edge out in there. It's not on every frame, but on some frames. The next problem is that we have this frame's damaged. It's ought to round up on the top one, and the bottom one is not too tight either. So these Sportster cups were not going in tight. See, they go in there loose. So we'd rather have these things in there tight. So instead of boring the hole out in this cup and changing out the bearings here to work with the bearing that fits this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the big twin cup here, and we'll cut the damn thing down on the OD right here until we get to where it goes in tight. Lesser of the two evils. Now this here is the one that has the big pit on the front here that you would put right up here in the front, right up in this area. And that's how you would use on like a 39mm Sportster fork. That'd be your fork stop to hit on this front of this cup. So you see how they got pins right here, you got to pin it in. And you got two or one, and then I got the one pin. So you have to drill the frame out in here and put a pin in it. And you can see how thin these frames are, they're not very thick. So that's not going to work very well. Okay, so we know this one here is loose. So we need to make the cup at least 5 thou bigger than that one. And this one up in here is even looser side to side. So we need probably 10 thou bigger. So I'm going to start with like 10 thou. I'm going to go cut these on the lathe, and then we'll come back and make them what we need. So right now we're going to go ahead and measure it and see what we got. So right now this cup here is around 890. Yep, 1890. And same size, about 900. See, it's a little bit bigger than what the cup is. That's why the cup goes in loose. So if we make this 95, we should be good. Now down here, see it's tapered, we're at 93 already. So we need to make it more like 98 on this one. The one up on top up here, there's 90, 1900. No, 1900, damn it. 1190 that way. That's the tight spot. .97, 98. So that's going to be at 1.2 inches or better on this one to be tight. So this one needs 195 and the other one needs to be at 2, probably 203 or something like that, at least 200. Not sure what it's going to be until you beat it in. You don't know how much clearance you need until you start beating on them. So I'm going to make one around, I'll cut the big one first. That way if I don't cut it right, I can cut it down and use it for the small one. So I think I'll make it like 205 and we'll see if we can beat it in. Somewhere between 205 and 203. That ought to be a good tight fit. Alright, so that's how we're going to do that. So I'm going to go over the lathe and we'll be back. Okay, we're on our lathe now. So I got the cup in there. Square it up. Make sure it's on the center and everything. So about 3 thou out there. If you're seeing that or not. You feel which way high is. High is that way. The opposite way when you go this way, on the high spot here, which is the low spot. Take about half of that out. Of course, I crank it and move again. See the indicator or not? Get over here where I can work on it. Now the cup's tight. There we go. Pretty close. Okay, that's how you dial it in. Get that out of the way. Okay. Now we measure our cup to see how big it is. So we're about 1.316. We need to cut it down to 200. Let's get 100th out to come off. And a little extra. So I got to blow off 100th out of that. Now you want to know how much, that is sharp. So you want to know how much that wall thickness we're going to have when we're done. You measure the ID. We're 1050. So we're going to be roughly around 200, so we're going to have 150 thousandths total. So we have 75 thou wall. 75 thou wall is not much to work with. So it's pretty thin. So there's 75 thousandths. That's how thick this be the wall when we're done. Pretty thin. But that's all we can do. We have to sacrifice material to make it fit in a Sportster. Okay, so I can go ahead and cut this off a little bit. So I need to be over here. So that means you get to be over here. See if I can cheat a little bit and get it where you can see better. All right. Hopefully you can see a little bit. Up to 40 more. Cutter's dull, so they don't want to cut 40. As the finish we're getting. Pretty damn bad. Time to change the bit out. Get something not quite as bad. Or I can go resharpen it real quick. Jeez, tighten that up last time. Probably me. Yeah, that one doesn't want to cut at all. There's the bit out way up there. Yeah, don't like me. Oh well. I don't like it, so we're even. How's that? That's a real sharp one there. I use one of these stupid ass ones I don't like. Usually work better on aluminum. Yeah, we'll see how this works on this one. See if this one's any better. Oh no, it sucks, dude. Let's get the material. Okay, there's 205. That's a little bit smaller than I wanted, I think. Yep, that's 229. I missed it by one turn. Yep. 200's right there. Missed it by one turn. Alright, that's horrible cutting. Yeah. Jeez. Worse than the other one, I think. Yeah, I'll get a new one on there. Newer. This one's almost brand new. It's got a real sharp cutting angle on it. It's got a real sharp angle to it. I don't usually like wasting good bits on these things. They're not new very often. Very long from here. Alright. That's a little better. Still not cutting really good though. Maybe it's the material. 55. Our best finish isn't very good. Okay, we're at 16 now. I want to be around 8. Was it 3? Remember that one. I forget. One of those. I think it was 3. Maybe we should go measure it again. It's a lot better this way. Usually cuts better the other way. See how nice and free cutting it is. We want to cut in 4,000. Not like we're doing a big cut either. Okay, it should be about 7.5 to 8. No, I'm on the wrong side. We're at 12.5, 12 and 3/4 right now. Okay, I'm gonna go measure the frame. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We're going to make a 203. 202, 203, right in that area. Okay, we're about 13, so I got to cut roughly 10 thou, a little extra maybe. Or 6. She gave me 203. We're right at 203. Hopefully. I missed it. 203.1. How's that? 203.2. See? Reading that or not? Let me get a focus. Okay, we're on the big side, so we're good. I'm going to put a little chamfer on here, so it'll start. This thing's going to be way out of round. Undercut it and radius it over. It's going to go in the frame pretty hard, so I got to make sure you got a little bit of a starting area on it. That might not be enough. 90. 203. Yeah, it's not quite. See, the small part of the frame was 89, where 94 is our smallest part here. So we'll see if it'll beat in. I could press it if I'd be able to do that, but I'm gonna try beating them in. We don't know if the press will work or not. So we're gonna have to get a nice respectable hammer and a tool to beat it with. 9 o'clock and hotter than hell. It's not 9 a.m. either, it's dark out. But it is hot. Nice camera. There, just want to focus. Okay, I need a hammer. Something with some shock behind it. That'd be called steel. There you go. It looks like I got this thing blown way up. I did have it blown way up. Okay, I've got to stop right over here in the fork area. I've got to find a tool to beat on. Use this over here somewhere. That's why it doesn't work. Camera's in the wrong spot. Okay. I need something about the right size. This says hard on it. Good thing Scooby's not here. They got fireworks going. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. That is about the right size beading material and everything. All right. Let me go in here and beat the tar out of this thing. See if we can break something. What's the chance of breaking a frame? With me, pretty good. Let's see what happens. The bike can fall over. That's the first thing that happens. going. Oh yeah, it's going in nice. That hard hitting noise is already bottomed. It's in all the way. Perfect. That is how you do a screwed up frame and put a cup in it. You make it. Okay, so you want to make sure it's flush all the way down, not uneven. You see a little bit of gap right there though, I don't like that. Yep, I got my finger going on it right there a little bit. It's tight there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it right here and see if I can push it down. So the frame might be actually pulled down. It might have went forward this way when the fork bent, which makes sense because when you hit the front of the bike it goes like this. So it might have pushed this forward right here. That's why it was out around. That would be why that's low right there. But we'll try to knock it down a little bit flatter. See if we can actually make that work. If not, we're going to leave it where it is. See, when things go out around, things move. Still there. So the frame's not square. So we're going to leave it. It's in there as good as I'm going to get it. Yep, hitting over here again. So there's a little small gap right there. My finger is in it, but it's tight here all the way around. So from here all the way around to the other side, it's tight. It's only loose right here, and that's probably where the frame is bent. So we're going to leave it. That is just what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Same deal, which is laying over here. Now I measured the frame on that one. I'm going to make that a little bigger. So I'm going to cut that one around 95. I think is where I'm going to do that one at. I'm thinking. I'll remeasure it to make sure though. So, I don't remember how I had this. Like this. Got gunfire outside or fireworks. Which one do you think it is? In this neighborhood? You never know. Maybe it's fireworks from the police. They do that a lot too. Alright, so I'm gonna get up there until I drop it on the floor. Yes, that's not the mark. Alright, so now we're going to center this up in the lathe again, just like we did before. Pretty good. This time I'm just going to tighten it up. Instead of going back and forth. Clean chips out, you don't want your magnet to fill it full of chips. Preferably anyway. Here's our high spot. High is that way. Okay, so I need to hit it when it's low. About 4th thou out. There we go. It's tight. It's even closer than the last one. Look at that one. Good. Okay, so we're going to cut this one. this out of the way. Getting pissed off. Oh well. Stop and make sure your measurement's good. If we're big. Steel does not like the cut. Definitely pissed off over it too. $216. I'm gonna go for like 90, 98 maybe. Not sure. I'll go measure the frame again to make sure. Doesn't hurt to double check before you do your final cuts. People don't like me using my clutch here, my arm over the back of the lathe here. The thing is, my arm's here and the chuck is right here. Doesn't want to do it. Now if you're standing over here and doing it that way, your arm's over it. When you're doing it this way, it's not there. But nobody says anything like putting my finger out to stop it. That's more dangerous. But they don't say anything about that. Oh well. Now I'll get more comments. Plus my safety goggles fell off too. But I do have my boots on. I don't have my boots on, the mosquitoes biting, that's why I got mine. Otherwise I'd have them off, it's hotter than hell. Summertime in San Diego sucks. It's hot and very humid for us. Okay, we're 203 now. 99. Oh, 98 and a half, I screwed up. Alright, I'm going to go measure it. I'll finish cutting it, and then we'll go back and bang it in the frame. So we'll be at the frame next.